well, I'll never forget is we had a little rehearsal the other day in my room. It's a small cabin. It's below the water line. I'm hoping that they upgrade me to a room with a window next time.
Well, you want to be able to see your chimps.
Yeah, I just would like to be able to see outside. You know, they keep me down, you know, where they keep the food. And
yeah, right.
service. I take the service elevator, really. In my room, I was just happened to, you know, trying to put the shows together, happened to witness you and Cadmo playing guitar. And I just stopped and I looked, and I was in awe because you two guys sat there for 2.5 hours just playing music.
Because we never get a chance to do that.
Yeah, and you're such a joyous player. How do you summon the passion? Because you know the music business is tough. I mean, but when you get a guitar and you start playing, it's like all the problems in the world just seem to go away, and you channel yourself into a different dimension. How do you maintain that over the years?
Well, one of the best things that I've learned is that first of all, I need to be fired up about what I'm doing, and I get fired up when I'm around other people. When I'm on my own, I can practice and I can play my songs, or I can write myself a list of songs that I haven't played in ages and go through them and see that I can get through them in case I call on one during the show, because I never use a set list, right? It's different for a guy like you, or when I was playing in a band, there was always a set list because everyone else needs to know what's going next, right? When I play my own shows like I will tonight or whatever, there's never a set list. All I have to do is make up my mind what I'm going to start with, and then away I go.
Right.
So I can practice songs that I haven't played in a while. But what's best for me is what's going on this cruise. Meeting people, jamming, playing shows, sitting in with other people, hearing other people. Just on Wednesday, which was a day off for me, I heard more good music and saw more good playing and singing than I'd seen in a long time. Yeah. And it just filled my soul. Yeah. And I got up Thursday morning hungry to play.
It's great, you know? And you know, that's the great thing about the cruise.
Thank
you. Everybody's got gigs and tours, and rarely the festivals line up. This seems to be the opportunity where you can see people jamming with acts that'll never occur any other place. You know, not that I'm trying to get you to sign up for next year, but I'm just saying.
Room service, send me up a room. All right. Yeah, but Joe, what I want to say in front of these people is that when I walk on stage with you, I see the same kid that I am when I'm up there. The same kid. We just want to play, and we're listening to everyone else, and we're in this moment. We're present, and we're enjoying every bit of it.
Yeah, you know? I always equate it to the eye of a hurricane. You know, some days you wake up, it's just, you know, you're on tour or you're doing something, and the business of music sometimes gets in the way, and I have to fight from the minute I wake up to the minute I step on stage to get into the eye of the hurricane, because the eye of the hurricane is when I'm on stage. That's when I'm the happiest. Nobody can bother me. Yeah. And that's where I belong. You know, I'm happy playing loud blues rock guitar. And then you get off stage and you're like, oh God, here comes real life. It's just the same as any other job, but you're just passionate about it.
Yeah. Well, I saw a drawing, and it was 2 circles. And one had like a little piece taken out, like a percentage, and it was like 20%, and it said, being creative, making music, doing blah blah blah, and all the rest of it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? And now we've got this big circle and a little bit of it, just like you're saying. We're being creative, we're playing music, blah blah blah. The rest, social media.
Yeah.
And that's why I very rarely walk around with my phone and all that sort of stuff, because I've got an addictive personality. I'd be on it all the time, so I put it away.
It's all about the gram, Tommy. It's all about the gram. Everything is. I live my life for Instagram because it's all about just can I get a selfie? Can I put it on Instagram? And I hate every minute of it.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Bizarre. It's bizarre behavior because at the end of the day, what you see, if you follow me, and I don't care if you do, but it's all I do is post pictures of guitars and gigs, okay. That's it. That's everything else is that you see on social media is not a reflection of anybody's reality, and because everybody's reality is very similar, and it's not, people just think I just walk around with a vintage Les Paul going into Walgreens, it's that's not happening,
I only take a strap to Walgreens.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a pre-CBS strap,
I'll tell you something funny. I was in a restaurant in Oslo, in Norway, and I was eating noodles for lunch, and my lighting director Zach took a photo of me, and I've got noodles coming out my mouth, and I'm looking pretty disheveled. I've just got off the plane, my hair's all over the place, I'm unshaven, I'm eating these noodles, right? That picture got more views and likes than anything that I'd ever put on Facebook.
Yeah.
Go figure.
The analytics of it is crazy. The most viewed video I've ever posted, not that I want to get into the social media rabbit hole, but the most viewed video is a video that I took of an old Fender Twin after I blew it up and there was smoke coming out the input jacks.
Oh.
And it got millions of hits. And I started to think about it critically, and I said to myself, I go, how shitty is my music that the most viewed video is of a fucking twin and about to catch on fire. I'm like, man, I really gotta up my game here, Anyway, couple plays I want to talk to you about because we were talking upstairs. Hank Marvin.
Yeah.
And teams over here, like in Europe and the UK and Australia, the Shadows were
huge.
They were huge.
Could you imagine, the Shadows they sang as well as but they were known as an instrumental band, right? They had so many hits that were instrumentals.
Right.
I can remember getting in the car with my dad when I was 5 years old, turn on the radio, on comes Apache.
Yeah.
Right? We go into a supermarket or whatever, and there over the sound system in the supermarket is Wonderful Land. And everywhere I go, there's beautiful music.
Right.
And that's got to be the reason why somewhere in my youth, melody, the importance of a melody was more important to me than just playing a bunch of chords. Because when people would rave about certain guitar players who played kind of like fingerstyles and stuff, I would listen to it and go, well, it's a nice bunch of chords, but where's the melody? Where's the story?
Right.
And I didn't sit around thinking of that. It was already in me.
Yeah. Because when I hear you play, you're a great singer as well. But when I hear you play an instrumental, I hear a vocal.
Exactly.
And you play guitar like it's a singer playing.
He's on to me.
I'm on you. I remember at the Czech convention.
Yeah.
And we're in Nashville, and it was the Czechs Appreciation Society, and we're backstage, and you grab an acoustic guitar, and you're like, Joe, check this song I've been working on. And of course he's Tommy Emanuel, and he plays like beautiful melody.
The Jerry Reed song.
The Jerry Reed song.
Yeah.
And you were working on, and I'm sitting there going, fuck me. There's more chords in this song than I know. And it was just like dropping a needle on a record, and but it was a song. I could hear a voice in there. I mean, it's like psychosomatic. It's like you're just like, okay, and that's been the basis of your style for a lot of years.
Yeah. Well, I'm so grateful. Every day I'm so grateful to be born where I was born and when I was born. Because when I was a kid, I was surrounded by great music. You know, the Ventures, the Shadows, Duane Eddy, Chet Atkins, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and then Aretha Franklin, and the list just goes on and on and on, and all the country music. The first music that I learned was Jimmy Rogers, right? So I can sing you just about any Jimmy Rogers song, and I can play Jimmy's part as well.
Right.
I also did the same thing with Hank Williams. So they were my first influences and role models as an artist.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I came a generation after all that.
Yeah.
But I still remember hearing this music. My father's in the audience, and my mom was here too. Like we would play records, and I remember hearing the Beatles for the first time, the Rolling Stones, Jethro Tull, Thick as a Brick. It's a hard listen when you're 8 years old. You know what I mean? It's a little, like, did this song ever end? Nope. Play me something with a chorus.
I think you and I have the same kind of thing. It's like I couldn't get enough of listening to a Chet Atkins record because it sounded better than everyone else's.
Yeah.
Right, and I was totally into that. Right. So when I eventually worked out how to play that style and try to get a handle on it, then slowly progressed over the years. It became such a second nature, such an obvious thing to me that this is what I'm born to do. And I see the same thing in you. When you look at the footage of you as a little kid playing a B.B. King song, you're imitating him in some ways because we all start out imitating someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And eventually we find our voice. And I believe that is nature's way. Someone has to light a fire under us and show us a way. Right? So we get going like this, and then eventually, in time, we evolve into who we are.
Yeah, I mean, just recently, and this is probably the last 6 months or a year that when I used to hear myself play, because I'm so intimately involved in it, I would hear the influences. I'd be like, okay, here's where I went into the Clapton bit. This is where this bit. This is where that bit. And I was like, man, I don't hear Joe Bonamassa. I hear bits and pieces of a patchwork quilt of all these influences. Only about a year ago did I it was just an epiphany. I just woke up and said, I do sound unique, and it's, whether you like it or not, it is a take. When did because to me, I've always said you came up with something that is often imitated itself, but it's all you by putting all these parts together, and there's legions of guitarists that have studied your work and play like you and stuff like that, but there's one Tommy Emanuel, you came up with it. When did you realize that was...
Thank God for that.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, God. I look at the music business like a barcode. There's all those lines on the barcode.
Right.
I would say, you see that? That's the music business. You see that little tiny line there? That's my line.
Yeah, right.
I got that little bit right there. Thank you, God.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody has their own lane. That's what I love about that.
That's exactly right.
I have a lane, you have a lane, and
exactly.
There's enough lanes in the highway for everyone.
That's right.
It's not.
Yeah.
So I have a very serious, important question.
Okay, so
I jotted it down. I thought
I'm ready, sir.
Really hard about this.
Okay.
So ready? Sorry. Good. Gotta get ready for this. It's big. It's a big moment. Okay. Name a guitar player that influenced you, other than Joe Bonamassa, that would surprise people. that maybe wouldn't think, like one of my favorite artists in the world is Bruce Hornsby. Not many people would associate my kind of music with Bruce Hornsby.
Oh, I love Bruce Hornsby.
But it's one of my favorite people.
Exactly.
Is there a guitarist or a musician, like, you know, did you go through your Tommy Iommi phase, is what I'm saying?
Well, Paco de Lucia.
Okay.
Yeah. Paco, for me,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I was so fortunate that before Paco died, I was booked on a couple of shows in Germany, and I got to play the first hour, and Paco and his troupe played the second. And I cried all the way through his show. I was standing behind him on stage where the audience couldn't see me, and I couldn't stop the tears because he touched me in a place that I have never been touched before, so deep in my soul. And I didn't know why or what it was. I just knew that it was his music that was so deep that I almost couldn't accept it. It was so deep,
Right.
you know? So I would have to say Paco is the top of my list for just sheer the beauty of music and guitar playing.
Yeah, I remember my father wearing out Friday night in San Francisco with Paco and Al and John.
Yeah.
And apparently there is a Saturday night in San Francisco that they just released. So the second night they released, but you know, it's one of those things where as a player, I always find that it's important to listen to all different types of music.
Absolutely.
And apply it to what you're doing, you know.
You must. You know, the funny thing is, Joe, and I bet you get this sometimes, people think that people like you and I, all we do is listen to guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing could be further from the truth. When I'm in my car, I'm on the Beatles channel, because I want to know how to be a better songwriter. That's what I'm more interested in than trying to be the world's greatest anything. I want to be able to write something that's anywhere near as good as that. And I want to take that influence in and keep the influence of all the incredible music in our world coming into me, you know. And when I want my dress blown up by somebody, I usually listen to Django.
Yeah.
You know, as a guitar player, nobody blows my dress higher than Django. Yeah.
I'm stealing that line, by the way. Thank you very much.
It's yours, brother.
Write it down.
Thank you.
Write it down. Well, thank you for doing this as always. It's an honor to call you a friend. It's
Thanks.
an honor to listen to your music and I just, on a personal level, every time I hear you play guitar, it just makes me happy and makes me want to play more guitar.
Same here.
And that's a testament to you as a person and as a musician. So
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Tommy, very much.